Ashe, peace and benedictions. Peace, family. We on.
Peace, peace. What's
Got a
going
good
on
brother.
with you, man? What's good with the good brother?
Nah, current events, common distractions, you know,
Right.
Roach Clip
That it
Ruminations.
is.
I mean,
Righteous. Oh, yes, sir. Let's see.
got the good brother come on. I
Oh
think
yeah.
he wait for the phone right here.
Uh-huh.
The good brother,
Philadelphia, California.
yeah, we're gonna let the good brother come in and lead us in the sermon. You know what I mean?
Righteous, righteous. Get a
Yeah,
few people in there. Uh-huh. See how that go. All right. How's the brother doing, man? What's going on out there?
man, everybody fighting all over the fucking place in Philly, man. You know,
I know.
the picnic. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm not surprised that they made the Roots picnic the start of Pride Month. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
So
wow.
like
Ouch.
on a Pride Month type time, and I don't understand why all these motherfuckers is fighting and shit. So I seen that the free Palestine motherfuckers going at the LBGT elemental P XYZ. You know whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I don't even understand why it's beefing though. What's going on, brother? Yeah,
Peace,
so
peace, peace, brother, peace.
All right.
Yeah,
My
so
apologies.
we gonna go over some current events, you know, um, different shit. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to rap with you. You know what I'm saying? How's the brother feeling? Are you good?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
That's what's up, man.
Righteous.
So introduce yourself, man. Tell us what you got going on, man.
Give me one moment. I have to talk to my wife real fast. Give me a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean that's part of the introduction, family man. You know what I'm saying?
Right. We all got family, so right. So in the meantime, so I guess I mean, we can drop something while we talking about things, man. I mean, it's a lot of like you were saying, it's a lot of fighting and stuff going on, a lot of craziness going on since the last time we didn't did this thing. You know what I mean? And
And the last talking about this shit, man, we were breaking down the VMAT two shit. The AirPods. You know,
right,
monitoring your brain signals and shit, and they can decode,
right,
what you're thinking about, you know,
right.
ability to
Mm-hmm.
send to your brain to make you feel certain ways. You know what I'm saying? We got some
Right,
more, shit for that. You know what I mean?
right.
Yes, it makes me not surprised that all these people is out here fighting and crazy, just like that movie, The Signal. You know what I'm saying? Or what
Right,
was it? We talked about that. You know what I'm saying? For
right.
to avoid the copyright, we ain't play no clip for that. You know what I'm saying? But we
Right,
told people to go and watch that movie. You know what I'm saying? So
right. Whether it's called the cell or the signal,
yeah, peace to
cat
the
food,
face,
dog food.
peace to everybody coming in. You know,
Right,
we severely shadow banned. You know what I'm saying? I'm not allowed
right.
to go live on Instagram indefinitely.
Oh
They
wow.
posts. They shadow ban everywhere I'm at. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But we keep knocking this shit out. And we come
Good.
back.
Must be saying something. You got to be saying something.
Yeah, if they don't stop you from saying shit, you ain't saying shit. You know, you
Right,
just think. You got a lot of charlatans and snake oil salesmen and people talking all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
why would they ban me? You know what I'm saying? So we got the good brother back. We can get into that on the B side. But you know what I'm saying? We got the good brother.
My
So
apologies.
I want you to talk about some things that you got going on, man.
For
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Right,
Like we got the little group on Instagram. And I seen you you lighting the messages up, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
for
you
sure.
got a chance to read them and shit. And I'm like, okay, brother sound like you talking some good shit. And
Yeah, man.
I don't know if you've seen some of the things that I put in there, I'm like the whip, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, telling niggas like, yo, come on, like we gotta work together, step your game up, come on with the bullshit, the competitive shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
For
so
sure.
so when I seen you putting that work in there, I wanted to holler at you, see where you at with it. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. For sure. For sure. So I go by Katanka Shango Amen. Katanka, which means my spirit gives me life. Shango is either because I am a Voodoo priest, and when I was initiated, they tell me I was a child of Shango, and Amen, which is one of my favorite East African gods from the Kemetic, Amen, the hidden one. With the messages that entails with what I was dealing with the group, I'm trying to I'm going to. I'm not gonna say I'm trying to. I'm going to establish a community within the United States of America, as well as one in the Caribbean in Haiti, and as well as one in the motherland of Africa. To the purpose of it is to give people an identity, a purpose. For those who are lost, people that look like us. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us are going through life without knowing exactly what we're going to do or who we are. So yeah, I started a GoFundMe, just to reach the people. I mean, I prefer to do things on my own, but I was speaking to somebody and it was like, it's you can go somewhere fast alone, but you get further together. So I have my eyes on the West Coast right now in Arizona, because I like hotter weather. I'm not really feeling the cold. I live in Ohio right now, and the winters be kicking my behind. So I want to go where it's hot. You feel me? So
Right.
yeah, that's pretty much the small details of it without going too deep into it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
You got the
Right.
floor. You can say what you want to say. You know what I'm saying? And I do want to ask you some questions about that. I'm not going not gonna give you no third degree or nothing. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
that's what
Like
good. It's good. It's cool. It's cool.
no, but like brothers, like for whatever reason, we know the reason, but brothers like to scrutinize each other. It's more like a competition thing, and it's like, all right, they kind of disregard some of the positive things that talking about to kind of like see if you're really about what you're talking about. Like, all right, all right, like with GoFundMe, like you see a lot of shit happen with GoFundMe. You know,
Definitely.
people be like kind of reluctant to fuck with that shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, what are some things that you think that people could do to like galvanize people and to get them to contribute?
Right.
Before you say that, I want to say that the other day, a couple days ago, we had the Roots picnic here, right? And the Roots picnic, it was how much was it? It was $250 to get in that joint, and it was a 2-day concert. So you do the math. That's $500. You know what I'm saying? So if you wanted to get the VIP, and the VIP get you backstage with the celebrities, and you can sit in the air conditioning. You know what I'm saying? That's 1,500. And
Wow.
now look, you had like 30,000 people there, and let let them eyeball people tell it. It was 33 people there. 33,000 people there. But
Right.
it was
Uh-huh.
some the yeah. That's a what I'm saying. That's probably their target number. Well, whatever. That's a can of worms, right? But
Right.
that's a lot. Think about how much money is that.
That's a lot of
If,
money.
if yeah, it's a lot of money. If you got 30,000 people and all of them 30,000 people paid $250 or more to get tickets, how much money you think they just made?
Probably, I want to say close to 250,000.
Shit, way more than that,
No, it'd have
dog.
been more. Yeah,
No,
yeah, it
no,
would have
no,
been
no.
way
I'm,
more
I'm
than
just
that.
giving. I'm just giving a small estimate.
But look, this ain't math class. That's like one of the math questions.
Right.
Yeah,
But the
because
point
a
I'm
Right.
hundred
making
bucks will
is
be 250,000. So obviously it's like a half a million, to be honest.
that right. The point I'm
Yeah.
trying to make is that more than that too. But the point of that I'm trying to make is that motherfuckers got all kind of money for bullshit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, after that, after you drop that 250, that 500, that 1,500, ain't shit changing your life. Ain't shit better in your
Right.
community. You know what I'm saying? It's the same old,
Right.
same old. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like when you hear somebody saying, "Oh yeah, I'm collecting money for a school, or I'm collecting money to build a village," you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Motherfuckers
Right.
turn their nose up at that. But mind
Right.
you, y'all same people who turn your nose up at that, you just gave Live Nation and nefarious clandestines that cart off kids to dismay. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Gave them,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
you know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Right.
Y'all gave them bread, happily. So if we ever want to turn the tide and make things better, we gotta put bread up to shit that's benefiting
Actually
us.
matter. Yeah.
And
And
and,
actually
Facts.
matter.
and when I say put bread up, I ain't saying that you gotta give your bread to somebody, but everybody should be putting some money aside for a
Yep.
better tomorrow. Whether it's just
Mm-hmm.
immediate family or for your extended family. You know what I'm saying? However,
Right.
however, however that may tickle your fancy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
But if we got money for bullshit, then we should have money for real shit. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But
Right.
but I want you to continue, brother. You know what I'm saying? What are some things that you inspired to do? With establishing these communities. You know what I'm saying? What are some of the things that fuel you to do that?
Um, because of the new wave and movement of people that the younger generation and the middle generation as well want to live more into nature and less technology, a kind of like a Amish way of living, if I want to compare it to anything. We don't necessarily have to let go of all technologies, but they want to be you know, more into nature around, instead of being
Off
so much
grid.
like our children are like all on their tablets 24/7. A lot of children don't play
Mm-hmm.
outside as they used to. Like when I was a child, you couldn't get me, they stay in the house,
Right.
things like that. I don't even see kids playing hide and go seek or manhunt like when I was a child. Or, when I was a child, I used to mess with ants or watch like we used to discover things with nature, and we kind of
Mm-hmm.
lost that part of ourselves, with all this new age technology stuff. And it's kind of messing with the temperament of the younger generation's mind, which eventually become adults. And it's definitely pivotal for melanated people, because most of our spiritual systems before certain other kinds, and I don't want to disrespect nobody else's faith, but before Abrahamic faith and stuff like that, we were more animist and we were more in tune with nature. So
Right.
one of my main points is to have off grid living and deal more like, I want to say like a Wakanda type. You know what I'm saying? You see how it
Right.
was technology advanced, but also they were also living within nature. They were still doing things upon nature. They had,
Mm-hmm.
if you've seen the movie Black Panther, for those who don't understand what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
have you looked into the different African villages that they have that are here in America?
Yes, I've seen. There's one in South Carolina that I'm very inspired by. It's called Cala. Ah, I'm not gonna mess up the name, but it's in South Carolina. Let
Yeah,
me.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. It's definitely it's Oyo Kingdom based, which is an inspiration
Mm-hmm.
for me because I have Nigerian DNA, but majority of my DNA is from Benin Republic. But that's one of them. There's another one in Georgia as well that I know of. I haven't been there. I plan on going to the one in South Carolina soon this summer. And yeah, so I'm very aware of those African based villages in America.
Mm-hmm.
So do you draw inspiration from places like that, like
Yes,
or
yes, sir.
or or do you want to like is it like in your opinion, do you think that those type of villages can be expounded on, or do you think that what you see when you look at these different villages is adequate? Do you think that's something that would be sustainable for people?
Uh, what it's called Oyotunji. There you go, Oyotunji African Village in Seabrook, South Carolina. Yes, I see. It's what they're trying to establish is the traditional Oyo kingdom way of living, and just keeping the the coach for the diaspora, for the African diaspora in America, to keep the culture alive. As far as creating a well-run community, I feel as though there can be some improvements. You know, some form of enhancements, because you don't want to take away everything from someone overnight, because they will go through some mental changes. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I feel as though we can meet in the middle with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with having AC, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with having electricity, like stuff like this, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm not saying go back into huts and, you know, you feel me?
Well, I think that one of the ways that will help people to not be like to go into a situation cold turkey. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Have, uh, I went on a couple of these called cell phone retreats. And in this case, technology retreats where you know, group of brothers and sisters get together and they go out in nature and they, everybody either, some people for whatever reasons they have to have their phone, but they put it on, silent or, what I'm saying. But for the most part, everybody, they shed their devices and we go out,
Mm,
what I'm saying. We spend a couple hours out in nature, just functioning naturally. You know what I'm saying?
facts.
Learning to live off the land, different tactics and all that different kind of thing. I ain't get all into the details, but you get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So
Definitely.
those type of tactics can be employed to help a kind of wane people off of like their dependency on devices. And a lot of places they have like basically like tech rehab, like especially in over there in like China and shit. They got VR VR rehab and shit. You know what I'm saying? So in a lot of places that it's illegal to even give a child a device until they turn a certain age. You know what I'm saying? So like here it's really regulation on that shit, and it's like to give some kind of further insight is that picture giving your child like a microwave to play with. You know what I'm saying? And like instead of the, how like kids that have played with microwave before, you put some shit in the microwave, and you put metal or some shit. You know what I'm
Start
saying?
sparking.
Like
Yeah, see what it do?
so,
Yeah.
so now imagine if
No
the
cap.
microwave emits is a two-way microwave. So instead of you closing the door and the radiation shit is inside the box, and you cut the button, the radiation is on the outside of the box. Picture that microwave work that way, and
Mm,
Right.
you let a child play with that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's what it's like. People don't really understand. It's like even like, all right, like the how radiation can leach into your bodies. Especially children's body because their bones are particularly cartilage at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're fragile.
So that
Mm-hmm.
like a laptop is not a laptop; it's a tabletop. You know what I'm saying? But to make it more marketable, they tell you it's a laptop. But way on the back of the instructions, they say, "Hey, don't put this on your lap." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
So how many
Mm-hmm.
people is around with laptops? Kids. They're giving their kids laptops to put on their lap, big tablets.
Mm-hmm.
Phones up to their head. You know what I'm saying? Sisters with the Islamic headset. You know what I'm saying? They got the phone up in the hijab. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
tell a sister the other day she had the phone in her up here in her breast, and I'm like, yo, that's not a good spot for that. You know what I'm saying? She like, oh, thank you,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. You know what I'm saying like so
Mm-hmm.
it's a actually a health risk by being around technology. One book I would recommend to people is Dirty Electricity. You know what I'm saying? You know, um, go out and get you a copy of that shit and learn
Mm-hmm.
how the alternate and direct currents, the health hazards that that both had, you know what I'm saying, but how they just made one more marketable and disregarded all the shit that they knew. So it's like even like they knew that anytime that they changed the frequency, that people would start getting like flu-like symptoms. You know what I'm saying? but that's a whole nother can
Mm-hmm.
of worms. You know,
Facts.
Right.
but
Mm-hmm. Right.
but we kind of going down the rabbit hole a little bit, but but we speaking about technology. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
people's dependency on it. Some things that we can employ to kind of help people wane off of that, and also looking forward to like building. Now, one thing I will also say is that I don't think it's wise for people to give out their whole game plan. And I kind of see
Mm-hmm.
that, kind of understand that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I
Right.
wouldn't ask you to be like, oh yeah, tell me more, tell me more. We can have
Yeah. Facts.
conversations like that.
Right. And
But
what else?
know what I'm saying? But I mean,
All right.
but just in the aspect of what we're talking about, in your opinion, what when you see, like, I guess, on social media, that basically where I met you from, so I could so we could start right there.
Mhm.
Social media, or even in your community, um, what are some of the things that you're seeing as far as like with our people? Do you see like a because let me kind of give you a template.
Yeah.
When this COVID shit happened, right? I felt like this shit was gonna bring people closer together. Like, it was like, damn, like this. We've been kind of like talking about cataclysmic, apocalyptic type shit. Pun intended. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what
Right.
the type of
Right.
shit like for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, understanding the severity of the issues, and thinking that you also looking at human nature and being like, well, damn. A lot of times it takes for shit to hit the fan for people to realize, like, yo, we gotta get our shit together. So,
Right.
but one thing that I've seen, and I would like for y'all to comment on this. One thing I've seen is that people just kind of like went left. Like, it's like they
Yep.
more separated. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm. No.
I was really disheartened by that. Like, damn, like, yo, I was wrong about that. Like, I thought like people would be like, yo, no, you know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
that speaks to a lot of the material that we've been recently covering. With the VMAT2 gene type. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. Right.
it really makes you wonder. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, yo, like, even when
It
you
worked.
possibly, you know,
Right.
but I would like for y'all to to comment on that. Like, you know, not not to not to spread it too thin, but you know what I'm saying. I would like
Right.
for y'all to
Right. Right.
comment on that. You know what I'm saying. Also, the initial topic. You know what I'm saying, as we kind of get through this, real quick, because we also got a lot of other material to go through. You know what I'm saying.
Right.
Understood.
Well, on that. Yeah. 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 Well, look. Shit. What I notice is a lot of like how we know about like the VMAT2 gene and those things, which is the code name "fuck it" gene, because like once they were talking about implementing that and we see the effects of it, it makes sense that a lot of people just really don't care, and that separation was actually like that 6 feet distance, people still trying to keep that. You know what I mean? And that caused people to have division. But I also seen a lot of shit, like there was people that was best friends from day one and all that kind of shit, and old boy had the good job and they going to the club every week and spending big bread, big bottles and all that shit. And one boy lost his job, and all of a sudden his friends around and niggas ain't coming through no more. Like, oh, we ain't kicking. Oh, nah. Oh, it was only because I had money. You feel what I'm saying? Like, hella people fell out over that shit. They had hella COVID divorces because people found out that they partner wasn't shit, they wife or husband wasn't shit. You feel what I'm saying? And people really stressed out because they hate their kids. They didn't understand that they didn't like them. You know what I mean? Like living in the same house with somebody. You understand what I'm talking about? Living in the same house with somebody for a long period of time, you actually get to know them. You know what I mean? When school wasn't an option for
Stuck in
them to get up out the
the
house
house.
type shit.
Yeah, they were
Huh?
stuck in the house. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
you know what I mean? And
You know,
parents that I know parents that
stuff with
barely skated through school.
yeah, people
Yeah.
couldn't to their kids and all that. Like,
Yeah.
but
They
like
knew not what to teach them.
a lot of that shit was different aspects of torture, and that's one thing.
Yeah.
The implementation of the boogeyman word, um,
Mm-hmm.
EMP, mass what is I mean, no, I said it backwards, but mass formation psychosis. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Uh-huh.
MFP. You know what I'm saying? Let me write that down. MFP, mass formation psychosis. You know what I'm saying? So the different aspects of torture that were employed to to make people kind of have this kind of survival mode shit. And a lot of people,
Right.
that I've linked up with, since then, they'd be like, "Yo, what you been up to?" Like, man, I've been in survival. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
there's a different aspect of righteous survival mode. When you step into your more hero character. But that's for another
Hmm.
discussion. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
all right, brother. What what you got to say about that? I want to hear
I
hear
mean,
what you got.
to piggyback off what the elder had said. No offense, not saying that you're that old, but older than you feel me.
It's an honor to
Um,
Right. It's
call the elder.
good.
he
Salute.
basically he basically
Yeah.
said everything I was gonna say. Like, yeah, because I seen people struggling dealing with each other when COVID happened. Through my understanding, which I'm not gonna say, you could probably call it pseudoscience, but through my understanding, I thought COVID was more of like a spiritual type of warfare. With the whole 6 feet and Corona being the name of a alcoholic beverage and alcoholic being spirits, and it affecting the lungs with air, with air breath being spirit. So I thought it was more of a like a attack on the spiritual system, because it did cause people to act very eerie. People were like the elderly gentleman said. He said mothers, they didn't really like their children like that, and they didn't know, they didn't know that until they had to stay home with them. I seen
Yeah.
a lot of children get abused during that time, because
Yes.
they had to actually they had to actually be true mothers. They had to sit there and do homework with their child, and had
And
to
they didn't
figure
know it.
exactly, and had to figure ways to keep them entertained, and they didn't
Right.
realize that you don't just have your children on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
more to it than
Right.
that. You feel me? So, and
Right.
as far as relationships went, uh, people had time to be away from each other because they had to go to work, and now
Right.
you at home with your with your other partner. You feel me? Now you know that they got a smaller pinky toe than the other toe, and you're like, whoa, I never noticed that. You feel me? So
Right.
it was it definitely dealt with psychosis. I never heard of that. What you call it? Mass psychosis formation.
Mass
Yeah.
mass formation psychosis.
I
That's
never heard of that. I'm gonna look
they
into that.
they scrub that word. That's
Yeah.
why it's the boogeyman word, because they scrub that from
Off the internet.
the owners of YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
Right.
I mean,
or
it makes
AKA
sense. It
Karen.
definitely makes sense.
But
Right.
just to add on to what you're saying, torture is a spiritual attack. Torture is to break your
Hmm.
will, to break your soul. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Right.
So
Right.
they put these people in this predicament to to break their morality. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when we
Hmm.
dealing with the possible attack on the VMAT2 gene, aka the God gene, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
which deals with morality and basically standing up for what's right or what you believe in. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And right,
Um,
we definitely gonna have to play it for the brother if he hasn't seen it, because I know we're saying VMAT two, Gene. Are you familiar with that? Like,
No, sir. This is new to me.
okay, right. That's all I was saying. Like, because I know we throwing it around, but it's basic. Like, if you could pull that video up, but nah, that's of importance because of how it was implemented, and it's just them freely talking about it. You know what I'm saying, amongst their constituents or their
Mm,
colleagues, discussing what they're doing to us. And we could see the results when it's explained in that format. We could definitely see, oh, yep, this happened, this is happening, subsequent to something that they needed to install in you in order for it to work. Because if they sprayed it in the air, it doesn't work. You don't hit enough people. They don't get enough in there. So they had to find a way to actually get it to you. You know what I mean? In order to make it work.
so all right, so
And
now,
just
now that we have these like things that that possibly could have happened, right?
right, right.
You know, um, allegedly, right? How they say.
Right.
Um,
Right.
uh, what are some of the things that that you see that you think that add to that? Because I see it as division. So if you agree with that perception, what would you think that would add to that division? I guess as far as the things that we see, I would say in this case particularly online. Like, what are some of the things that you see online that that may trigger people who may be um um
Sensitive,
hypersensitive? You
vulnerable.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. Um, shit, touching on their feelings. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, causing all these tragedies and things in order to, try to get a rise out of people. And I noticed before COVID, you know what I mean? People was like, they was ready to get amped about some shit. They was riding in the streets and kicking shit over and doing all kind of shit when somebody got shot. Regular person, didn't even matter. Old person going home from work. You know what I mean? People was up in arms and protesting, doing a bunch of other shit. And slowly as shit started going around, you know what I mean? Like they cut that shit out. Ain't no going outside like that no more. Ain't no doing these other things. And then as they were moving along with it, people seemed to stop caring. You know what I mean? They got desensitized, if you can even throw that back out there. You feel what I'm
Facts.
saying? To all this shit happening at the same time while this installation is going around, and
Facts.
people are dying. Like, you know what I mean? One of my partners had a picture of some Theraflu and some fucking like lemons and shit like that was gonna work, and he died, nigga. You know what I mean? Like, nigga, like people was thinking like, oh, nigga, I get over it. Like, no, that ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you tested and you fucking, you know what I mean? Like all that shit. We're not gonna get into the details of how that shit happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know the recipe, but I know how people got injected. You feel what I'm saying? So, with that, just dealing with people, just regular death. I know people that say, man, I lost five, six, seven people and shit like that. You know what I mean? Because of that shit, and so it had to bury people back to back. You know what I mean? People without money. And then when they put the financial aspect, when they cut the financial aspect off, people lost. People lost it. There's people right now. I still ain't got no job. You know what I'm saying? Like people looking around, you know what I mean, trying to get like in there, and then that killed relationships and everything else
True.
because it's going to, you know what I'm saying? Like that cut off everything. That cut off friends and everything else. Nigga, no, I don't got a dollar. You get what I'm saying? Like nigga, nope. You know what I'm saying? And then people was getting stingy. You had people that had no hustle or that wasn't slick trying to do slick shit. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
All kind of like for real, like they didn't know how fucking they feelings off, spending all these years and crashing and burning. You feel what I'm saying? Like people that was somebody is no longer no more. You know what I'm saying? They fell off. Not only fell off, they fell all the way off. You feel what I'm
Facts.
saying? Just because they did some janky shit. You know what I mean?
Thank
you
you.
know, you feel what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I
over that,
agree.
like you was solid for 50 years. You was solid for 50 years, but that one thing you just did, you know what I mean? You thought trying to get over on people, and that's one thing that everybody started dealing with. A whole bunch of people start doing scandalous shit. You feel what I'm saying? All the way around, and just regular people just being scandalous, and they pitting people against each other. Who's better, Nas or Jay Z? Who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? They trying to make anything like they put battles there to keep you distracted. You feel what I'm saying? This person against this person. You know what I mean? A war here and got people fighting over some shit that you're not even in. They got white on white violence right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's just getting amped over that shit. You feel me? Like and all kind of other shit that they got going on, which is a true distraction because when you look at the background of what this shit really is, it makes sense. And it's like as long as we ain't paying attention to what's going on, like you know what I'm saying, they got us with
That's
that, and they got you numb. If you fighting at home, you can't fight outside.
that's true.
Yep. And there's so many homeless people now. Excuse me,
So
unhoused
so
if you want to be technically correct.
so let me ask the brother the same question. So what are some things that you saying that you think that could be gaslighting people or causing some division?
Well, he pretty much said it all again. Like it's kind of hard to like. Let me.
Well,
Well, to me,
you
for
concur, that's cool. You know
the
what I
way
mean? But if
the
you
way
want
I
to,
look at it, to me, the problem with me, well, I see it is that it also turned us into a type of anarcho system. Like every man for like the whole scamming thing. Like scamming was at an all-time high during the vid. You feel me? Like how Kevin Hart calls it, during the vid and after the vid. Like scamming was an all-time high. People were selling like horrible drugs. There was a lot of overdosing going with fake Xanax, fake perks, fake this, fake that, because people lost jobs. Even fake sprayed weed. Um, and then then all of a sudden, a lot more states, approved weed being legal. It was just like a lot of crazy things was happening. And then in the internet, social media, all of a sudden there was no more like hierarchical system within our people. Like there was no actual leaders and people who played the role in that system. It was now like everyone was a leader and everyone was against each other. Like every man was his own country. It was not really no unit. It was not really no unity during that time. It was like he said, it was separation and we all turned into some form of murderous thieves. You feel me? But not necessarily murderous, but like untrustworthy, like not trustworthy. It was bad. It was really bad. I mean, I'm still seeing the effects
Mm-hmm.
now.
Yeah, that during that time, that was the rise of the influencer. You know,
Facts.
um, they went on a witch hunt through the quote unquote conscious community. Demonizing
Mm-hmm.
the community, right? Even knocking people off. Getting people out the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
Yep.
rise of the influencers came, and you see like more division than ever. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like,
Yeah.
all right, like case in point, you're talking about your Nigerian background. You're talking about seeing different African villages and basically expounding on those concepts, right? Then you got a lot of
Right.
people
Mm-hmm.
who turn their nose up at that because they like, well, I'm not African, and I don't have nothing to do with African people, or I ain't got no African DNA in me, all of these kind of things, right? And
Mm-hmm.
hey, I want to ask, like, have you encountered any of that kind of feedback? When you talk to people about these things that you want to do.
Yeah, I've definitely received that. I've definitely gotten into many debates, whether they were scholastic or just regular conversations going back and forth. Um, I decided to let that part go because
Right.
I decided to look at it as, what, it doesn't matter if you claim to be Black American Indian or from Nigeria or from Benin or Black Island, a specific islander. At the end of the day, we are looked upon as the same. If
Right.
if you want to get technical about it. So regardless if my first and last name is Abatunde Alawakandi and your name is Chief Running Waters Rivers Foot, you're black, I'm black. And if they say and we're both 6'1", and they said there's a tall black suspect, they're gonna wrap both of them. They're gonna hem both of us up until they find
Right.
out who is actually the person. So I stopped dealing with
Right,
that. I stopped
right.
dealing with that because it's
Right.
pointless. At the end of the day,
Right.
it's just causing us to be it's causing more division than it is unity. And with that being said, I can look past that because at the end of the day, mentally we're screwed. All
I
of us
I
mentally.
want to I want to I want to say to y'all brothers that when the COVID shit happened, the music industry responded with verses, right?
Yeah. Not
And
even verses about it.
that made me like suspicious of the industry at that moment. Not to say I had that point because I learned a lot from Professor Griff, and Professor
Right.
Griff is like really been talking about this shit. I guess I would say way before anybody. You know what I'm saying? But I was really
Mm-hmm.
suspicious of the industry at that moment. For them to like strategically put out verses at a time when the lockdowns was happening and all this shit was happening, and it made me kind of think like, damn, like this script, this alleged script is could be bigger than what we think. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
with the rise of the
Mhm.
influence, right, you can
Right.
kind of that kind of behavior back to what we see on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like and the things that like you're saying, I've said many times to the brothers, like, yo, like they don't care about what we arguing about. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? They'll slide on us no matter what you call yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so from what you're saying, like, I can pretty much, gather that, you're not into the gang war type shit that they try to have us on. You know what I'm
No,
saying? So
no.
I want to ask, do you think that it's intentional? Do you think that this could be something that could be like strategically done, like on purpose?
I would say yes. I would say for the most part, yes, and for the small part, no, because majority of the whole, um, when it comes to if you're speaking only on the African versus Black American thing, that that deals with, yes, that's true. That is an agenda. That is true for the most part. I want to say 90% of it. 10% of it is just ego from the men, because it's not really necessarily women are following the men into this, but at first it was just men trying to find a figure way to come up with something new and fresh to get a dollar. You know what I'm saying? And then once somebody tried to correct it, like, no, your information is incorrect, then it became something else. But before that, it was always a plan and agenda to separate us. You know.
Well, I want to I
Right.
want to put some things up on a proverbial map for you and kind of pinpoint some things out to you. Um, all right, like in our community, in this carbonated, melanated, Akibalonic, whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying? Uh, Kushite,
Right.
Hamite, whatever, right? We got a battle
Right.
royal. We got black versus Moor versus Aboriginal versus Indian versus Hebrew Israelite. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Et cetera, et cetera.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. In a steel
All of these
cage
different,
match.
all of these different, um, where they're operating like gangs, are like literally like gang banging on each other, and it's like all of these, and the what is it, FB Foundation of Black
FBA.
Americans,
or FBA.
and like
Yeah. Yeah.
all of them got one thing in common: they hate being African. They're not African, and it's like, one of the things that I say to brothers is that so when you're talking about the millions of people who lived and died in North America, millions of brothers and sisters that lived and died in North America, not even just the ones
Mm-hmm.
that's living now, but the millions or even billions of brothers and sisters that lived and died and just in this continent. You know what I'm saying? However they got
Mm-hmm.
here. The point. The point is this: do you think that none of those brothers and sisters that live here had African DNA? They
But
didn't have African blood. You could say, all right, yeah, we was always here, but I'm just asking you: do you think
Yeah.
that from the beginning of time until now, right? That brothers and sisters that live on the continent and what we call North America have never ever had African DNA. Because that's the argument that these dudes be making. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And it's like, one of the things I contributed to, like I always say, is that, like, if you're having an argument and you in a car that's speeding down the highway, right? And the brakes go out, and the driver is alerting everybody in the car, like, yo, the brakes just went out, right? And these
Mm-hmm.
people in the car like arguing about what should be on the radio station. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So and it's like that's kind of like what what we what it seems like we've been gaslighted into. Now
Right.
I heard you mention um possible misuse of testosterone, but consider the fact that we talked about the devices, the the dependency on devices, particularly at a young age, you know um Even when you factor in the lack of masculinity in the community, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's it could be because there's a lack of testosterone. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That
Mm-hmm.
we out of this conflict, you know, because that testosterone in a man will help to employ his reason or logic. You see what I'm saying?
That's
So
true.
with the lack of testosterone, you have more estrogen in men, which makes them more emotional and more, you know. And one thing that's dangerous is an emotional man. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so we got a lot of emotional brothers out here. You hear women say all the time, these men ain't men no more. It's not just because of poor mothers, it's because there's literally a depletion of the testosterone in our communities, whether it's from the technology, whether it's from the poisoning of the food. You know what I'm saying?
Or on
You
purpose.
know, so,
Or on purpose.
so when you got like these hypersensitive emotional people that may have been, you know, vexed with something, right? You know what I'm saying? It could be you ever seen that movie Undercover Brother?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen that since I was young. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Now
I gotta rewatch that.
they came out with a part two to it,
Oh, no, I
and
didn't even know that.
now in the part
Mm-hmm.
two, um, they have the man's son is taking over the nefarious clandestine business, right? And one of the things that he does is he puts this drug called woke in all of the coffee shops where all of the kids go. So all of the kids become woke, right? And when
Mm-hmm.
they come woke, they hypersensitive and now they tripping and they wilding and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? And they put this in the movie years ago, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
some of the things that kind of seem eerily familiar with that, like, so just looking at those things that I put on that proverbial map right there. Do you still hold that same position? Do you think that you know men are just angry and burly and they just going out? Because I mean you do have a point, because they could be fueled by a misuse of that emotion. But
Yeah.
but I'm saying, given the things that we covering, would you think that could be more like a strategic plan?
Yeah. I mean, I still feel the same way. I said 90% of it is a strategic plan, but the thing is, the plan itself for a man to be a man, right? And I'm not speaking for all men. I'm only speaking for those who are leaders. Like, I'm not talking about leader of your own life, because everyone's a leader of their own life. Whether you decide to be a follower, that's a
Sort of.
choice that you decide to make. I'm speaking of
Right.
leaders of leaders. What I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
mean like kings
Mm-hmm.
of kings. For those who are the ones that's on the top of the line, that's speaking at the you know what I'm saying. For those who are the pastors that speaking to the congregation, the chef that's speaking to the Muslim, for the president
Right.
that's speaking to the cabinet. I'm speaking of those type of men. Those men have misused their powers to guide people into being self-sufficient only. That self-love have turned into selfishness, and the agenda is fueling that emotion, or that
Mm-hmm.
mentality. You get what I'm saying? It's definitely fueling that. Like, that whole I am God and no one else matters to me is being fueled by that agenda. Well, as a man, you should be able to break free from that agenda and help your people think somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Think of something else. Like what we're
Right.
doing. You know what I'm saying? We've broken free from
Mm-hmm.
that. You know what I'm saying? But there's not enough of us doing it.
Well, right.
Well, well, I agree. Now I want to ask a question. I want to ask, a question to both of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that leadership in and of itself could be synonymous with some level of narcissism or even sociopathic behavior? With like, what one phrase that people hold, for centuries, who died and made you the king, right? And
Mm-hmm.
even when we look at royalty, what I'm saying, like these people, they basically tell people like, yo, we got a direct connection with God, right?
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, I'm entitled to tell you this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that when somebody jumps out and says, "Hey, I'm going to lead people to this, or I'm going to lead people to that," do you think that that could be rooted in some level of narcissism?
It
For
depends. It depends. Oh, go ahead, Elder. Apologies. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. No, that's good. I didn't mean to cut your wisdom. Go ahead. You can go. Right.
Well, okay. So with me, the best leaders are people who listen. You know, so if I see someone, for example, take you for example, Red Pill. Say if you had a because I may not have had I did have a good strong father, but I may not have if I'm speaking of a theory. If I didn't have a strong father and you were raised by one and you knew more how to be a man than I did, we all have some type of idol. Like when I was playing basketball, I looked up to Carmelo Anthony. My father never played a lick of basketball, so Carmelo Anthony was my guide to being a better basketball player. That for him to say that he's one of the best, that's not narcissism. He actually has the skills. He actually shows determination. He actually has the talent to prove that he's one of the greatest basketball players ever. Or we could use Michael Jordan. So simple as other presidents. Or I can use ancient times when a pharaoh was born and his father would take, or a prince was born from a pharaoh. He would take him to the old tombs and show him all the old pharaohs before him and say, any one of these guys you can choose to be like. And if and because all of them were leaders, you feel me? It's not, nothing's wrong with that, because even in nature there is hierarchical system. You know what I'm saying? There is the head lion, there is the head monk, the head ape, the head gorilla, there is the queen ant, the queen bee. There's you know what I'm saying? So if it's showing us in nature, it shouldn't be narcissistic. But with us, we have more mental capacity than animals, but we should be able to respect the fact that some people can do things that we can't. I know people that's
Mm-hmm.
6'8" that can't dunk. I know people that's
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, if
Mm-hmm.
if the person is right for the position, it's not narcissistic. Now, if he's not, then he's just not. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
if he is, or she is, if she is, if she's
Mm-hmm.
not, she's not. It's not narcissistic to me, if you ask me.
So, all right,
Right.
I would I
Yep.
agree. I agree to a certain extent because I mean, like, like, all right, like that's why I put in that phrase, who died and made you king, because royalty, again, is um basically claiming a connection to the divine, you know what I'm saying, which gives them the right. So if one is to challenge that, obviously, they would be smited or thwarted, so so when you think about that, can somebody, of course we've seen, countless rulers misuse their power, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Is that something that's inevitable, do you think? Or do you, or I would like, for and Pope, I would like for you to, comment too. But I would like
Yeah.
for you, to name a good leader, you know what I'm saying? But before you do that, I wanted to point out also, like how you said about Wakanda earlier. Now in Wakanda, remember, they had once a year that somebody could challenge, the Black Panther. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the
Right.
leader, essentially in this case is battle tested and battle proven. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's not just somebody that's saying, "Hey, I'm the shit and you should follow me." It's like, no, this person has proven that they the baddest in the tribe, right? And that's why I'm the
Mm-hmm.
leader. You know what I'm saying? Just like a alpha male wolf would prove that, or has
Yeah.
proven, you know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
um do you think that rulership should be, to come from like a stream of dominance, or like just like a rightful heir? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Well, let me see. I'd say like let me say a leader. I would say Muhammad Ali because of his
Facts.
arrogance, because of how he shit like man I'm the greatest and tell you you're the greatest and show you you're the greatest. he wasn't. I mean, for him to be like, "Hey, I'm a leader," you know what I mean? Like I can, I do this and stand on something outside the ring and inside the ring, and literally stand for something. And he led people to not follow a bunch of other shit when you don't believe in it. You know what I mean? And still had the arrogance. You know what I mean? Like some of it was extra. He put it on thick because he was good at what he did. He didn't do that outside the ring. You know what I mean? He'd tell you I beat you up, but you know what I mean? Outside of that, no, I'm a father. You know what I mean? He was a Muslim. He did everything he did. You know what I mean? His discipline was on point. So that being a leader in the things that he did, I would say that would be something of a reflection. But some of these people, like I think that any leader that they have it set up, that they have a group of people, because the ones here in this country keep getting busted for doing the same thing. As soon as you get appointed a position, they send somebody at you to try to get you to take a bribe. They send somebody at you. So whether
Let,
you are money hungry,
I was just
you know
saying,
what I
let the
mean? Like
brother.
what? Yeah, for sure.
I
But as
agree.
all,
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
You
for
want
sure.
you want
So
to you want to respond, brother?
Well, I agree with him. And I would like to also say, also in Black Panther, um, before the Jabari, what's the name? Uh, Leader of the Jabari, what's the name? Can't remember his name.
mhm,
M'Baku, before he came and challenged, everyone respected T'Challa as king. They didn't want to challenge him because they knew he had a good heart and he was a good leader. Like everyone
right,
decided not to challenge except for M'Baku because he had a specific grievance with the fact that they weren't always included in the decisions and the whole counseling of the elderly council. They didn't have a decision, but
right,
until he showed up, everyone was passed on the judgment of wanting to challenge. So, like I said, people who are naturally born to be leaders or, who show righteousness in the way they lead, there's nothing wrong with hierarchy. There's not narcissism. You know what I'm saying? So, and also, um, dominance is just not the only way of proving to be a leader. One must be also be diplomatic as well. You know what I'm saying? But Wakanda
mhm,
is definitely a great comparison to make. And, even such, people sometimes you can be too kind-hearted, because if you look deeper into the comics, there was a time where T'Challa was caring about every other nation except for his own, and he lost his powers even with having the flowers. Boss, if you read the comics, I'm a comic head. Bostet came and took his powers away, even when he had the herb, because he wasn't doing right by his people. So it isn't just about dominance. It takes more than that, and if we get back to that, it will be great. Because when it comes to the European people, even their great leaders, they celebrate them. The bad ones, they celebrate them. Trump went to jail. Trump got accused of sexual assault, but they still love him. You get what I'm saying? Bill Clinton did all this in the third, but they still love him. If you look, I was in the military. If you go, it'll show you the line, what they call him, chief of state, chief of executive, whatever they call him. But the presidents, they're all up there. You know what I'm saying? And you have to know them all by name, and they show respect to every last one of them, even if they weren't so great, not so great. Eisenhower doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Hoover, it doesn't matter. They celebrate all of them. And then when it comes to European people, they're heroes. They celebrate them. They're murderers. They celebrate them. They give documentaries to murderers. They give documentaries to rapists. It's only when it comes to black people we always have to be perfect of the perfect, which is such an asshole thing. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language. I don't mean to curse.
Cool.
oh,
And and,
it's gonna get more curse word.
and can you name a good leader?
Of ours, it depends.
Just it could be any leader. It can be any. It can be. Uh,
Patrice Lumumba from Congo, Thomas Sankara from Cote
no, but
d'Ivoire.
tell us.
Uh,
But I want you to tell. I want you to just name one good leader and tell us why.
I would like to say Fred Hampton from the Black Panthers.
Right.
Reason is because he definitely showed us structure, unity, um, accountability, and
Mhm.
discipline. People were uniform. People came correct, had their afros on point, stood on what they meant. They weren't late to their
Mm-hmm.
meetings. They did everything they were supposed to. They were at where they're at. They
Right.
defended themselves. They reminded me of a strong military, and they were just regular people from the hood. You mean I know, not trying to say that we all come from the hood, but they were regular people from the Chicago projects, and then they turned that into something beautiful. And Fred Hampton, also the other brother, whoo, hello, oh my goodness, I have a break for it right now. What's the other brother that got killed as well? Um,
Huey?
Huey Newton. Thank you,
Yeah.
Huey
Yeah.
Newton.
Yes.
Yes. Also, they took sadness, depression, and oppression and turned it into something beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So those are examples of great leaders, and they give their lives for the people. They were not selfish.
Okay, I just wanted to know, where what the first person that would come to your mind. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um,
And what about
yeah,
you? Same
um,
Facts.
questions.
I would say, um,
Ah.
I want to say, I want to say Khalid Muhammad,
Ooh,
Okay.
but
Mm.
ooh,
I know some people would argue that, but
ooh, ooh. Can I
Yeah.
claim mine? You know what I'm saying? Ooh,
um,
brother Colin Muhammad, let's go.
but
Right.
sometimes especially in this hypersensitive day and age, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
that approach can be somewhat brazen, you know what I'm saying, but that's
Hmm.
still my. But you mentioned the military, um so when we look at a lot of the different establishments and towns that that our people had, you know um that have been demolished or attacked by our oppressors, right? um
Hmm.
a lot of people strive to establish communities, and I hear a lot of good ideas, and one thing that I don't hear is lack of is defense. So there's a lack of um thought of the application of defense, or the necessity for defense in that regard. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
like, with your attempts to or you strive while you're striving to establish these communities, um what how do you feel about, or what would you, I don't want to say like what would your tactics be, but I would just say rest with, how do you feel about the necessity for defense and security?
That's a definite sense of security is what people need in communities. This is why people leave their war torn countries to come to America, because it seems as though America is a lot more peaceful than most other places. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
for the people
Till you
that's in
get here.
Haiti, they try their best. They'll sacrifice their lives to come here because
Right.
America has a sense of security. You know what I'm saying? People from Mexico and on the very same continent. You know what I'm saying? Hop the border to come over here because of security. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you hit 911, police is coming. You know what I'm saying? If you hit 911 in Haiti, you gonna have to wait about 4, 5, 6 hours if they working that day, because they barely get paid. You know what I'm saying? So security is a definite. You know what I'm saying? People learning how to defend themselves and having uniformed forces to protect what's precious to them is a definite must.
Right.
So
Uh-huh.
do you think that there's a necessity for us to have our I guess basically our own army, you
Yes,
know
yes.
Hmm.
now, like, how they got that question, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Easy
So
one.
when, well, in this regard, what would you think would be a necessity, first, or something to go for first? A community, or a means of defense, I would say.
Um. Well, if you go ahead, Elder, if you would like to answer first before I answer.
No, go ahead. Yeah, no, I'm listening. You had already
All
got
right.
started.
All right. Well, for me, I have to have something to protect in order for me to fight for something. If I don't have nothing to fight for, then I'm just a crash out. You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, I will go on a mission where I will not come back alive. Where I'm a die for something. You feel me? I have to die for something. You know, stand for something or fall for anything. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right. Yeah.
community is first. You know, you have to build the home to bring in a child. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just bring in a child to a place where it's no security at, and you have to build the
Right.
security as you're raising a child. And there's a lot of things you have to worry about. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, you want to have your fences, you want to have your home, your structures built. You want to have discipline. You know, your expertise in things
Mm-hmm.
before you want to establish an army. Like if you ain't got your stuff together, how can you lead an army? You know what I'm saying? So a village
Mm-hmm.
definitely comes first, and then what? And building that village, you're going to grow the confidence in becoming a military leader. You know what I'm saying?
Now, and the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I bring that up because like you think of like places like remember the boy Jim Jones and he took them people out into the
Jamestown.
right.
Yeah.
You
Uh-huh.
know, saying we don't need guns here. You know
Jonestown.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And,
Yes.
we already know what happened there. You know,
Right.
so if people, if like let's say like all right, somebody say or like yourself or somebody says, I have this community and you should come to my community and live in a better way of life, right? And that seems
Uh-huh.
enticing to people. So how could they how could they know that they could be secure? What would some things that would be like um I guess applicable in that regard? You know what I'm saying?
Um, well, with that's a tricky question because the reason why Jones was able to get all those people was because he was a believer of faith of a faith that didn't believe in any type of violence or suicide. So it was more of a trick. Now it was more of a tricknology type of thing that he did to his people. Me, um, that's in all honesty, there is no type of way for me to convince people to trust me. It was just something that you will just have to do. If you can, if you don't, you don't, which is a decision that you have to make. Just like the rest of us, like when we make friends, we don't normally put them through an application process or anything like that. We just, if the vibes is right, things go as well accordingly, and we learn by trial by error. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna try to come up with no, manipulation tactic or some type of strategy in how I can get people to join me, because whatever plan I come up with, I have to keep up with that. And to be a leader, there's so many things we have to do, and trying to keep someone's mental in a place of where they're not might trust me or might trust me is not a place where I want to be, because that's causing confusion, and confusion causes chaos, and chaos destroys structure. So with that being said, it's more of
Right.
a trusting yourself, your own discernment to make that decision. You get what I'm saying? And that's just how it goes for me. That's for me.
Would you encourage self defense for people?
Of
Or
course. Of
or
course.
would people like um like look for somebody else to secure them? You know what I'm saying? Because that's essentially what happened in the Jonestown is that they they felt they didn't have to have their own. Now some people had from what I was hearing, some people had pieces. They snuck over there. You know what I'm saying? But the consensus was, yo, we don't need that here, and we got people to protect us. So which one do you think is more applicable? People being protected by trusted people, or people protecting themselves, having the ability to protect themselves.
Okay, so that's another trick question, because it depends. Like in this
I,
era,
I mean,
in this
it's
time.
not
It's,
it's not a trick question, really.
well,
It's simple.
I mean, because
Like,
Jonestown was a little
right, like
bit,
I'm coming with you somewhere, right?
yeah,
And am I safe? Should I bring my shit with me? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a trick question. It's just
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah. Oh, if someone was okay, so say I'm in someone's trying to come into the community and they're with you, like, should I bring my gun? You don't have to ask me that question. If you feel like you need to bring your gun, I don't think it's the place to place. Like, if you feel like you need to bring your gun off bat, that's the first question you're gonna ask me. I'm like, well, bring it if you feel it's necessary, bring it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
some people might say, no, you can't bring that. You can't come here with that.
no,
And some
yeah, that's
I
true.
ain't
But
where where
I wouldn't
can't,
say that.
you know what I'm saying? Some people
Yeah,
is like that,
Mhm.
I would.
I'm not saying that I'm like that. I'm just saying that some people are like,
Facts. Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind. But when someone does that, I'm gonna have to have mine as well. You know what I'm saying? Because
all
now I
right,
don't know
well,
what you're thinking. You
For
know what
sure.
I'm saying? You
no,
feel me?
we
I don't know
groups
what you're thinking. I don't know if you're gonna try to come over here and rob the people. I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? So if
look,
you feel like first things first, like, yo, should I bring my gun? And I'm like, yeah, bring it, because we all got guns. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be cool.
we seen
Right.
groups like the NFAC, you know what I'm saying, and we pretty much know what that acronym means. You know what I'm saying? That's led by the Grand Master Jay, right? And he had people like walking around like in some type of form of malicious style, with women and children and unloaded guns, which look more like a photo op than the actual mission. You know what I'm saying? And they claim to be looking for the ops, on home turf. You know what I mean? Is I want to know how you feel about that.
How they I mean, I'm aware of it. I keep my eye on them. I just don't focus too much on that because
Do
I
you,
have to,
do you
you
trust
know,
them?
do I trust them? No.
Yeah. How about
I,
you, Pope? Do you trust them?
Uh, no, I mean, like people to see, like, long as they stay in their community and they do their thing, if they, I don't want to be in the middle of some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if these people, if their mission is to cause conflict or create issues, because one thing about it is it's a chain reaction. If your group or your faction or your village happens to, start a war in somewhere else and other people aren't aware of it, then we're all susceptible to that. You know what I mean? So if you're going to be going off and walking around with weapons and doing, creating issues for people over here, what, 1 o'clock over there, you know what I'm saying? Some shit go off over there and we don't know nothing about it. By the time we wake over here, it's over. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? Those kind of people that may cause issues with folks down the road, we can't afford that. You know what I mean? And if anybody's trying to make a decision for us as a whole, then we got to talk about it. There's other leaders and other groups that you should be talking to before you make decisions that are going to affect everybody. And that's village to village. That's how we all get along. That's how the villages are able to communicate.
facts.
You know what I'm
Now,
saying? Like that was one of the things that messed me up when people was out there with arms and we want jobs and we want to go back to work. No, we don't. Y'all need to calm the fuck down and go back home with that shit. Because if something would have kicked off and we weren't even aware of it, y'all can't be responsible for us not being able to go home ever again.
I
Not
actually
right now.
I the information on IE, the Black Identity Extremists and the different things that they would
Right.
use to label,
Yes.
and he completely disregarded it.
Hmm.
So and I remember he was like, "Yo, pill, like, what's this?" And I'm like, "What you mean, what's this? This is what you need to know when you that you file pictures and all that." And you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Right.
you know, um, I say that to say that some people, you know, there's a lot of control resistance out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Are
Yep.
you aware? Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I've heard of a few. I've heard about those guys in Oregon. I've heard about them. I've heard about the tiki torches dudes. I heard about there's also a few
And I
colored
want
people.
a question before we get into these some topics and shit. You know, all right, with a lot of the shit that we're seeing out here, things that make our spidey sense tingle, things that we can obviously pinpoint as some type of division, whether it be self-inflicted or some nefarious shit at play. Um, how do you feel about the aspect of working with people who may not agree with what you I don't want to say believe, but you know what I'm saying, your way of life or your background. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who says, well, I don't have the same background as you, or I don't I don't have the same culture as you, right? How, do you, but they essentially are people, but they in in these spaces where they rather be in the echo chambers than actually work with other people. You know, do you see that as an opportunity to work with those people, or you just against like how do you feel about that? Like I don't want to like kind of like put stables around what your response would be, but I'm just saying like how do you feel about or what would you do about some of this division we see? Because one of the things, before you say that, one of the things that I say to brothers is that we was out in the wilderness, right, on some you know Last of Us type shit, right?
That's my shit.
And let's say like focus is like it's like clicked up and it's like,
It's
oh
funny
shit,
that you mentioned that because that's the last game I was playing, literally.
that's crazy. And look, the universe work like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we walking through, let's say like walking through like, oh shit, this is Morris territory, right? Or this Hebrew Israelite territory, or this Aboriginal territory, or this is fundamental Black American. All there's a lot of with these little groups that they trying to break us up into. It would be a lot of territories. If something was to happen, like where we just, what I'm saying, split and like, so it's like it would literally be like walking through gang territory for like back in the gang war days, like in the '60s and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta hurry up and get through, the Aboriginal side of town before sundown. So it's like, I got out of sundown town from the white dudes with hoods. And do you think that with the climate of bickering and division, that we could see like some type of shit like that? And what would be like some of your solutions, for that? You know what I'm saying? I know that's kind of a multi-layered question, but like I'm trying to get a scope of how you feel of the things that kind of like brothers like us are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. You know what I'm saying?
Well, with that, right now, I actually have an alliance going on with a group of Black Native Americans. So I see that they're also trying to purchase some land. I've donated to their cause. I let them know who I am, what I represent. I don't uh, argue with them about how they feel, being they're not African and stuff like that. I don't really care. At the end of the day, we both Black. It doesn't matter if you Choctaw or South African. They don't matter. We both Black. We trying to better ourselves and our family and our people and try to get ahead in this race. I look at it the same way as when people were in World War II. They still had Olympics going on. Even when they were killing each other, they stopped for a moment and went to doing the track and field. And what I'm saying? I look at it as the same thing. I ain't got no problem with you. You look just like me. Whether if your name is, like I said, Aloha Candy or Chief Thunderfoot, I don't care. You're still
And
Black at the end of the day, and I'm Black.
running, these ninjas is running eagles. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be flying, but that's
Yeah.
the part. But but yeah, I mean, you know, that's how I feel about the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like so so are you saying you working with a group Native Americans that so there's no like um it's like there's no argument there. It's like is it there's cooperation?
There's cooperation. I just don't pay attention to when they have their anti-African rhetoric because I know it comes from a place of you know, like they just like when I'm being African pro-African, they just look at it as me being ignorant or me or maybe they take me like, yo, maybe he really is African. So if they accept me for who I am, I accept them for who they are. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it
Right.
is. I don't have time to go into that because it's gonna be we're gonna be running in circles. We ain't gonna be going nowhere. It's like we're running in circles on a treadmill. Like, yeah, we're
Or,
running really fast, but we ain't going nowhere.
to some of our
Right.
brothers and sisters said a bad word. So I want to ask you, what does black mean to you?
Something that ain't is something that's understood ain't got to be explained. I'm black, you black. The elder right there, my brother, Pope, he's black, and that's it.
All right, well, I I can answer that question.
Look,
What black means to me is that that's like that's like slang. Like that's like our people using slang as usual. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
like, you know, to some people, the written word is interpreted by the reader. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I always say this. If I wrote on a piece of paper and just said "bitch" and just gave it to somebody, right? It's up to them to
Hmm.
interpret, what I meant. They might majority of people, like if we did a case study, majority of people would assume that I'm calling them a bitch, right? You know,
Hmm.
now what would yes, hypersensitive activity, some lack of self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? These overlays would trigger people to respond. And who the fuck you calling a bitch? You and I
exactly.
talk about. You know what I mean? But you know, we can see that people got triggers. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
like
Yeah, but that's the thing. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so if you're speaking for if you're talking about the Moors who don't like to call themselves
yeah,
black,
yeah. I mean, of course. Now that's what I'm saying. Like that's a bad word to some people. Like,
I
but it's
I
right.
I would just say,
Like,
you feel me?
it's like all right. Like they'll say people are not crayons, and it's like all right, like it's like slang for us. Like when we
Yeah.
say like when we say black people, we understand that we all
Inclusive.
place. We all over the place. We come in different shapes and sizes, different hues, different cultures.
Hmm.
It's like that thing that binds us all that we just call we black people. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You know, some people take things literal. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Right.
like oh, you know when the brothers be saying like this color is this color this is people ain't crayons and all of that, right? All of the shit they be saying, and it's like, well, this color is older than the word. You know that, right?
Hmm.
Before somebody wrote on a piece of paper that BLACK, this color existed. You understand that, right?
Exactly.
Color,
Hmm.
like people actually putting letters on on stone and shit. Colors are older than that. So even
Hmm.
if you called it Ka or this, you know what I'm saying, is black. You know,
Facts.
so but
Uh-huh.
some people have some lack of wrapping their head around that. I would say, what I'm
Yeah.
saying, probably because they don't want to, and kind of a lot of cult like behavior. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
But yeah, like that. You know,
Yeah.
I
Oh, well, in that case, if I'm
love it.
if I'm referring to a Moorish brother, right, I'll just call him by his name. That's it. I'll just be like, yo, if I'm speaking for myself when I say black. I say, well, we black, we black. I'm not gonna say that. I would not knowingly open and say a Moor, hey, yo, you black. I'm not gonna start opening up a can of worms. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna like, Moorish brother, what
I,
is your name? Alim Bey. Okay, Alim Bey. This is what's gonna happen. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yep.
I
And call people by their name.
a lot
Yeah.
of
Yep.
functions where, you know, like a lot of brothers and sisters, converge and come together to work together, and
Hmm.
them, the, you know, destroy a whole function over that. Like,
Yeah.
what we
And see, I can care less about your subscription.
what we're not going to do is keep describing ourselves dead in the eyes of the law. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
niggas,
Right.
oh man, it's like, damn, like we was just converging on the subject, and it's almost like niggas intentionally broke that shit up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Hmm. Right.
That's the thing that we got theory about. When we you know, wrap our head
Having
around it.
dialogue.
So,
Right. Having dialogue with individuals.
yeah, but let's close that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad that you drop some knowledge on us and let us know, where you at with it, you know what I'm saying, and shit you got
All
going
right.
on. And we're
So
gonna get
how?
into some of these topics now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, how would they be able to reach the brother? You know what I mean? How could they reach out to you and get some more information about what it is you do before we do get into the rest of this?
Uh,
You know what I mean?
I mean, you could. Oh, man, I don't have my
You got
my
a
other
crown?
my other phone.
Hey, you got an email?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah,
can.
we'll leave it.
But
We'll
if
leave
you
it
Or I
in
could
it.
type it in chat, right?
so it's like, if we're gonna run through some of this shit, you know what I'm saying, you can,
Yeah,
whenever
for sure.
that shit, you can throw it up or whatever, you know what I'm saying,
Right,
whatever.
right. Whenever you find it, you can throw it up. Right.
All right, for
I
sure.
want
Uh huh.
to throw some of these topics at y'all. You know what I'm saying? I know Pope, I know you got some video clips, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got
for sure.
on, I don't even know what the fuck they is, so we got
They
we definitely,
all fire.
you see the headline, we're gonna talk about this Fauci situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, in two parts.
Yeah, so we're gonna I thought he was gone, but you know what I'm
Nah,
saying, but
Yeah,
yes, I see you still there. You know,
yeah.
yeah, so try to like I'm gonna just down this list right here. I got to kind of like not a list, but this shit, let the chips fall where they lay. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Hmm.
So I'm gonna just throw this shit up here. So I seen this shit the other day. Granted, we were talking about the music industry and shit. All the kind of little bullshit. So we gonna get to the little chum, and then we going get into how we do. We start out with the
Yeah.
little, and then we get into the deeper shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Right.
And so yeah, let's throw this out there. You know what I'm saying? And shit kind of line up actually. It's kind of crazy. The universe is working crazy. So this is this your man Bobby Smurder right here, right? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying that the reason why he ain't put out music in years is because he refused to wear uh nail polish. You know what I'm saying? Now, one of the
Why is
things
that?
recently, of course, the whole, this it's been a month since the Drake Kendrick battle. You know what I'm saying? So just
Hmm.
want to highlight that. You know what I mean? So so with that, this brother is saying that he can't put out music because he won't do the. Now remember, when niggas going at Drake all crazy, that's one of the things that people pointed out. Like, dude, get his fingernails. You know what I'm saying? But the
Right.
crazy is like for him to say that, that would mean that it's a lot of other people getting their nails painted too, right?
Yeah. And they can put out music because they are doing it.
Right. So,
Hmm.
so this is the post the Shade Room put up. Shout out to the Shade Room. You know what I'm saying? Getting all of the hip hop fuckery together. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
posted a picture of his fingernails like I ain't getting my shit painted. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Hmm.
it's crazy because look at all these dudes that got their fingernails painted. This is what, like
Wow.
9 or 10 rappers right here, right? 10 different rappers or musicians, right? Now, right there in the middle, you got your man Lil Nas. Right now, he's like the zestiest out the bunch, right?
Yeah.
Now people would think that he would be like the template for zestiness. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Hmm.
if any one of these dudes, right, or anybody for that regard, was to do something that that homeboy is doing right here, and what these
Yeah.
people right here, you would consider
Mm-hmm.
a little sassy, a little spicy, or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, why is this a thing?
Yep.
What
Yeah.
y'all
Why does he have to?
y'all think this is just a coincidence? Like, all right, well, dudes is just getting fingernail polish. Like, is that a thing now? Well, what y'all think?
Well, I know what kind of thing that is.
I mean, I
Out here,
look
we
at it.
call it alternative lifestyle. Go ahead.
True. I mean, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. Well, there's one way. There's one way you can say it's either how you say feminization of men. That's one. Or as
Mhm.
for me, I like to say it's definitely because of the whole synagogue of Satan worship, where most gothic, heavy metal type of musicians who definitely that frequency of type of music, suicide, all type of crazy hip, like dark hippie stuff. They paint their men paint their nails, you know what I'm saying? So, and they definitely tell you they worship Satan. So with that being said, in their music they'll tell you they worship Satan.
Well,
So it's
all right, with that, all right, you pointed out something, again, the universe got a funny way of working. But
Mhm.
if you look at some of these dudes' fingernails right here, some of them got the same image. It's like eyes. Now, if you
Mhm.
look at who's that right here with who's that? Rocky with
Yeah.
yeah,
his eye. He got eye. He has eyes on his fingernails. You
yeah.
know, and
Boy, boy, boy.
what, what would be the obvious significance of that?
Mm.
The Masonic order, the Illuminati, the all-seeing eye, things like that nature.
But but
The
Mhm.
why but why but why are they getting fingernail on their fingernails? What is that about? It now all right. Now you said about they how could you explain to us how how would these guys wearing fingernail polish feminize men like other men? Like
because of the law of power, or the law of numerical value, which is a force of power, a force of nature. Einstein discovering, Oppenheimer discovering how to create the the nuclear bomb came from mathematician and mathematics. So these guys have followers, have stream numbers, have money. All people tend to attract themselves to numerical value, whether if it's currency, whether if it's the people that watch them, whether if it's how many times they be on a radio, how many times they're played on a radio, which comes in numerical order. People tend to follow what seems to be like a lot. Like even if it's one person, but if he's worth a lot, you hear him a lot, he talks a lot, he has a lot. You know what I'm saying? People tend to do it
Mhm.
a lot. So
right.
that's how
So
it is.
so essentially, some aspects of indoctrination. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much.
because people of all ages now for this to work, people of all ages would have to be impressed. You know what I'm saying? So I had to switch up my approach. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
if for this to work, people of all ages would have to be impressionable, not just children. Because a lot of times
Mhm.
we'll pass the bucket and be like, hey, don't do this in front of the kid, right? Because
Well,
they're impressionable and you might teach them some bad behavior. But for this to work here, that means that somebody knows something about us that we don't fully understand.
mm.
That all people are impressionable, right?
Yeah,
Aha.
Like children,
Aha.
right?
yeah,
So if we these guys to paint their fingernails and show them living a lavish life of luxury and getting all the girls and all that, then maybe just maybe, right? Allegedly, that's what they doing, but maybe, just maybe, people out there might just do it too. So,
Who would have thought?
do y'all think that you think that like regular ninjas out there gonna be getting their fingernails painted? Like, hey, like, is any one of y'all considering um going to the nailery?
No,
No,
not at all.
no,
I mean,
nope.
listen, I seen people with fingernail polish on, like, yo, and I'm like, oh
Yeah,
shit,
no.
motherfucker had fingernail polish matching his phone case,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
I said, oh,
Nah.
shit, I'm in the wrong place.
Right.
Ah,
I'm definitely in
and
the
then
wrong
there's a
place.
guy. There's a guy that I work with. He's quote unquote straight, but he's um I would like to say he's like a eighth black person. Like his great grandfather is black, and
Oc-
he's majority Caucasian.
Octoroon. He's
Octoroon,
an octoroon.
Octoroon. There we go. Thank you,
Yep,
eighth
that's an
Octoroon. I was
actual
looking
word.
for it.
Yeah.
He's not what's the it's mulatto. Then it's what's the after mulatto? It's a quarteroon.
A quarter
And then
ton. Yeah, quarteroon. I just got to reading about them, bro.
yeah, quarteroon. Then yeah,
That's,
he's a
yeah,
octoroon. He
yeah,
paints
yeah.
fingernails because he used to be in a band. So like I said, like he paints his fingernails
Yeah,
different colors. And he was mentioning to me that it's cool that I see NBA players paint their fingernails, and I was like, no, it's not. But
No.
I try not to get in that type of conversation at the
that,
workplace.
that's shit. That's what the next slide should be, But I ain't
Hmm.
even go that far. I just, just went as far as the industry, because we was talking about the industry and how people is used as puppets, in previous videos. So, this is
Hmm.
the same alley, but you hit a good point that you even see the basketball players, and it's like, all right, why would a basketball player get his fingernails painted? Like, you're prone to chip
Right.
them niggas be breaking. Like, you playing your act.
Right.
I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
so do you
I can
if
see it.
try so you can play? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you
Is that
know,
your contract?
but you know what I'm saying? That's kind of crazy. Like, I had a dude arguing with me on Instagram, and he had earrings bigger than my mom's earring. You know, and I'm
Bangles.
he was talking all kind of he was selling all kind of wolf tickets, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
I said, bro, when you get ready to throw down, do you take your earrings off like a girl? And he blocked it. And so
He ain't got no other choice but to. He got no other choice but to. Ain't no
He
coming
can't
back from that.
respond. Yeah, yeah. There's no response. Like, no, they
look,
gotta take
That
him off like a
look,
man.
look,
that's that accountability. That's the
man,
accountability that people are
but
not
but
ready for. He's like, yo, you right. I do gotta look like oh man, I gotta block him. I
but
can't.
what's to
No
be
one else can hear this.
but what's to be understood here is that people underestimate the power of imagery. You know what I'm saying? The
Right.
power of advertisement. Like, we say this all the time. Like companies literally spend more money on advertisement than they do on the actual product of the actual
Right.
of the product. Like the
Yeah.
sneakers,
The quality of the product. Yeah, of course.
like sneakers probably cost like $15 to make, but they'd make a commercial that costs like 150,000 and
Yeah.
up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Millions. Yeah. On campaigns.
Like, think how many sneakers they can make. You know what I'm saying? Off of one commercial slot.
Yep.
So the advertisement and getting you to do something, is more
Important.
is more impressionable than you think. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm. Yeah.
pun intended. And it's
Right.
like, again, like, we talk about, the children, and how the children are being impression. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to look at this shit right here. Hold up.
Oh.
I had a fat finger moment. Hold up. We gotta coin that fat finger moment.
Hilarious.
I mean,
Mhm.
all right. So I wanted y'all opinion on this right here. So I don't know, Pope. Can you zoom in on that and read that for us?
Yeah. As oh, hold on. Let me turn it sideways so I can see the top part. Okay. Oops. Hold on. Let's see. Shrink this thing down. All right.
I got it. If you,
All right.
I mean,
No. Okay. Satanists are pushing for representation in schools. Um, as culture wars continue to brew in schools across the United States, one unconventional group is pushing for more representation in the classroom. Satanists. This has particularly caused controversy in states like Tennessee, where elementary schools formed a program for children called the After School Satan Club.
now before we even get on this, when I first seen this, at first this made me think about that show Stranger Things, and
Mhm.
on Stranger Things they had the Hellfire Club. Remember the kids was in the the club, you know, that's the same club that the man Benjamin Franklin was in,
Hmm.
who had bodies in his basement, but that's another can of
Huh.
worms. But
Hmm.
but in this show, Stranger Things, they had the Hellfire Club. You know what I'm saying? And of course, that it's always some predicated malevolence based bullshit. You know what I'm saying? They make the shit palatable, right? They make the shit cool. Strange things. People buying fire club T-shirts, right? You know what I'm saying? And they're giving you this imagery in the movie, right? Or in that TV show. And now, and now here we go with the real deal. Now, hey, yeah, we have an after school Satan club.
Hmm.
What the hell are they gonna do in that after Satan school club? And it's like the shit be so crazy is they be having your kids signing NDAs and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Which
Right.
is illegal, by the way.
What happens in
But
Satan Club stays in Satan Clubs.
don't even have to tell you that they doing all kind of weird shit. So your kid could be in the Satan club, and under some clause that they roll out with this shit that they don't even have to tell you.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because that would be
Yep.
violate your kids' rights. By you intervening and them going to the Satan club.
Hmm.
Wow.
Hmm. Lost another one.
All right. So when we see shit like this, there's always the aspect of homeschooling. That's the other thing that comes to my mind. Is how do y'all feel about homeschooling? You know what I'm
Hundred
saying?
percent for it. I'm 100% for it because well, how about this? I'm for homeschooling when a parent is at home that can teach their child, or there's somebody who can instruct their child properly. Homeschooling ain't for everybody. Just like we learned through this whole code bid and shit like that. A lot of people went to school and didn't learn anything. I know people that, I mean, back when I was going to school, you could cut school for 3 years and still graduate on time. They had programs like that. They really didn't give a fuck whether you know what I mean? Like they'll let you go and everything. You know why? Because of right now. Because when it comes down and it's up to you to teach your kid, parents didn't know what the fuck to do. They
Listen,
barely made it themselves.
I would take a inactive teacher who sit around and look on their phone over a teacher who teach my kid about Satan any day.
Right. Right. But
Give
at the
me
same time,
that lethargic ass teacher and let him sit there and look at his phone or whatever. I don't give a damn. Now look,
yeah.
this is now remember when the dude y'all remember when the dude got fired for letting the girls braid his hair?
Yeah. Then the
He said
white dude bedazzled this shit.
and the it was a long line of black women champion for the white school system. Like, yeah, that's good that they fired him because he shouldn't have been letting no children touch him.
Yeah.
Wow,
Right.
like crazy as hell. And these the same girls that go to your house and be like, "Oh, look at my little boyfriend."
My apologies. The police were shining helicopter lights on my house. I'm like, what the is going on? Sorry.
Man,
Honey.
I remember.
Yeah.
What you
Listen,
done started, Red Pill? What did you done start? What you done start?
but
You're live. You're live.
like this dude, he got fired, right? Dude got fired for letting the kids braid his hair, right?
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
the girl braid his hair. You know what I'm saying? After
Hmm.
after school, like after the class was over. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They would
Did you
take
see
your
what happened?
they would take your kid to an assembly to teach to let somebody with a strap on read a book to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
did you see what
You go to
happened?
school, you can have a Satan club,
Right.
but
Look, the other
firing people for that shit though.
yeah,
Like,
and the other day, look,
look, before you say that, I'm not even saying that dude is wrong. I mean, or wasn't wrong. I'm not even arguing that. That's a whole nother discussion. Was he wrong for doing that? That's a whole nother discussion. But I'm just saying, if they firing people for that, then how is this shit cool without your consent? Like, did they send a memo home? Was this, you know what I'm saying? Did they call?
that you
Like,
could join the
now you said about cutting school and shit. They had called. They
yeah,
had got the machine to call your house like twice and say, "Hey, your kid
yeah,
ain't to school today."
yeah,
Did they send
yeah.
a automated message to say, "Hey, press 1 if you want your kid to learn about Satan. Press 2 for no." Did they do that?
Mm-hmm.
They could at
Yeah,
least do that.
yeah,
Like, what the fuck?
yeah,
Hey,
yeah. Hey, and to touch on that, this when you were just talking about the teacher that got fired, just the other day they had a white dude and the kids in the school was bedazzling his bald head, and they didn't do nothing to him. You feel me? Like right back to back, right after the teacher got fired for getting his hair braided, they had the white teacher was getting the kids were bedazzling his head and shit. A fucking beating. They didn't even do nothing about that.
that shit is wild.
Yeah, for real, for real. And that was right afterwards. You feel me? Like that was just in the news. That's why I was like, man, this double standards or whatever the fuck they want to call that when it's convenient.
But we know for a fact that a lot of these stories that they put out there is literally to keep people on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Get
I
extracted.
say, like, yo, don't weigh too much on the shit that you see in the news. It's meant to trigger you. It's meant to make you go. It's meant to make you go argue with them people at work and shit. No, I'm
Right.
telling you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like that's what it's for. That's how they get ratings. This is like Maury
Clickbait.
Povich, Jerry Springer type energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. They knew they can capitalize off of that every time, including all these stories with man, every fucking war story or every situation. There was a kid that was in there, and they're
Look,
pulling them out.
even this story right here. You
Yeah,
think they don't know that people gonna be upset about this?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they all of
they're
them
counting on it. They're counting on it.
to be arguing about something
Yeah.
to be energy to this. Right? Y'all, how dare you do this? I'm gonna
Yep.
call the state right now, right?
I'm going to be at the board meeting.
But when they release this kind of shit, what else is happening, right?
Yep. Right.
They got them. They bringing the man who shut the world down in the court. But
Mm-hmm.
they put this kind of shit up on the news. They know you're gonna be mad at this.
Mm-hmm.
But we gonna get into that. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Mm-hmm.
fire off some clips too if you want to. You know what I'm saying? I think I got some shit organized, but not that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know
Shit,
what
man. We.
was what in my phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me see.
A lot of crazy
Oh,
shit in
yeah.
the past couple weeks, man, or the last week
Right.
and a half.
Yeah, that's what we can say. Let me see here. What we got in our little history. Ah, yes. Oh, we was just talking about them pods, right? I know this situation here. Let's see.
AirPods, and they are turned off with the case closed, low levels of RF. And look what happens immediately when we open the case and take out the earbud. Our levels of RF go up pretty high. You can see people walking around with the earpod in their head. About peaking at about 700 or 800 millivolts per meter.
You know, if I was mad, I would just like go up on the side of the mountain and just put my hands out and just collect everybody AirPods and just crush it. You know what I'm saying? Like do everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Do everybody a favor.
Yeah, like this shit just keeps getting worse and worse. Like we showed y'all the patent that how these motherfuckers, can transfer your brain signals back to their database and figure out what the fuck you was thinking of when you was looking at that video. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's just like, that Parks and Recreation episode where the people at the job is like, damn, I my boss sent me a Christmas gift, and they sent me some shit I was thinking about, and I ain't even tell nobody.
Right.
Or I was looking at
Uh-huh.
my computer, or out. You know what I'm saying? And this motherfucker sent me. And they learned that. Oh yeah, these motherfuckers is collecting data on you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They collect.
Right.
They collecting data straight out of niggas' minds.
Right.
And then you see that level of interference.
Yep.
Man, you think straight with that level of interference right there.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
the most effective weapon is the one that you don't know is a weapon.
Right. Yep.
That's that, and I think the brother can attest to that. You said you was in the military, right? So the most effective weapon is the one you don't know is a weapon. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yep. That's what they do. Let me see. Hold on.
Using that AI shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I got a couple more slides, but if you want to throw a video up, that's all good.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, for sure. So I know we had a couple of good ones.
But since we touched on that, um,
Uh-huh.
got a video.
Yes.
Let's look at those.
All right.
Subliminal behavior modification,
All
computer,
closed.
and U.S. patent. So these motherfuckers got a patent for this shit,
Hmm.
right? The idiot box, you know,
The fish tank.
right?
They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. Nah. These people are cool.
Is it therefore possible to manipulate the nervous system of a subject by posting images displayed on a nearby computer, monitor, or TV set? For the latter,
Hmm.
image posting by is that post? I can't see past it. Move this real quick.
Pulsing images, yeah, displayed on a nearby
Posting
oh,
may be
embedded.
embedded in the program material, or it may be can't see past that.
Right.
Modulate a video stream.
Mm-hmm.
Now look, if you ever now look, brother, you said you play, video games, right? You
Yes,
know what I'm saying?
sir.
Now, shout out to the gamers out there. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Right.
Um, you should they use video games in the military
That's
to
true.
motherfuckers
And
get
like that movie Gamers.
more on point. Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
check out that movie Gamer. We got some quick
Yeah.
cuts. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
but one thing that you see on the game, right? When anytime that you cut the game on, especially like the PlayStation, right? When you first cut the game on, is they flash a disclaimer on the screen, and it says, these, images could cause epileptic seizures. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You feel like you twitching or involuntary movement, please stop playing the game. And if you need, and they tell you to call the medical facility, that's on the front of every video game. And that's been like that for like the past, 20 years or something. You know what I'm saying? Right? Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So it's like, man, like these motherfuckers, they telling you that they got the technology to fuck with you through these motherfucking through the T,
Images.
through the
Right.
pixelated images and all that shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
this patents for this shit,
Right.
right?
The shit you put in your ear.
That affects majority of the Asian population than anybody else.
Well, out here in California, everybody got them. It seemed like they was just giving them out at
Oh no, no,
the
no!
swap meet or
I'm not
something.
talking about the iPod. I'm talking about the video game seizures that usually happens to majority of Asian children. Not
Huh.
the AirPods. Yeah, damn near everybody got them. I don't own them. I told my wife in the very beginning. I said, yo, I don't like the way they feel in my ear. They give me a headache for some reason.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason. There's definitely a reason. Yeah.
Can you read the
Yeah.
abstract for this right for this U.S. patent?
Things I would. Yeah. Let me increase our
Trying to
knowledge base. It's a method and apparatus for manipulating the nervous system by imparting subliminal pulsative cooling to the subject's skin at a frequency that is suitable for the excitation of sensory resonance. At present, two major sensory resonances are known with frequencies near half a hertz or 2.4 hertz. The half hertz sensory resonance causes relaxation, sleepiness, ptosis of the eyelids, a tonic smile, a knot in the stomach, or sexual excitement, depending on the precise frequency used. The 2.4 hertz resonance causes the slowing of certain cortical activities and is characterized by a large increase of the time needed to silently count backwards from 100 to 60 with the eyes closed. The invention can be used by the general public by inducing relaxation, sleep, or sexual excitement, and clinically for the control and perhaps treatment of tremors, seizures, and autonomic system disorders such as panic attacks. Embodiment shown are a pulse fan to impart subliminal cooling pulses to the subject's skin, and a silent device which induces periodic varying flow past the subject's skin. The flow being induced by a pulsative, rising warm air plumes that are caused by a thin resistive wire, which is periodically heated by the electric current pulses. Nigga, excuse me.
and this is more than 20 years ago.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
24
So
to be exact.
they literally taking this technology from behind the set and the computer screen and put it right in your fucking ear, right in your hand.
Yep.
You know, look. Here's another gamer thing. Remember on Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and you play you play with CJ. Now on the game, you can play the video game on the game. So like CJ
Oh,
can go on the crib and go to the TV and play the video game. And if he
oh
played the
okay.
game right, he
Hmm.
was losing muscle mass and getting fat. That's what was in the game. The boy, what's his name? Leslie Benz, right? Benzie or whatever.
Hmm.
He put that in the fucking game.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Got to have some reality to it. Hmm. Wow.
And this here in the fucking patent, talking about, oh yeah, you looking at this shit with this certain frequency hitting you. You just lazy, lethargic. You ain't thinking about nothing, right?
Right. Right. That seemed like that's
Motherfucker try to tell you it's an idiot box for real. You know?
yeah. I call it the fish tank. If none of the fish come out, you can sit there and stare at it. That's the much entertainment you're gonna get.
Yeah, he said the fish tank.
Yeah.
That's a good
Nothing
comparison.
comes out of it. Right. You just sitting there staring at it. It don't do
That's
nothing.
facts.
They move around. They all look the aquarium for some because they colorful. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You got a
facts.
big ass. Yeah, you sit there and stare at it. Nothing comes out of it. Yeah, you feed it your mental capacity. Because it used to be watch TV out of boredom. How could you be bored if you don't know enough? Like we ain't built enough. Come on, man. Like what the brother San Quinn said, I'm still struggling like a black man after work. We don't get to go home and kick it. You know what I mean? Like for real. It don't
Facts.
stop when we go home. We got motion to deal with. You know what I mean? Like this shit.
Facts.
Fuck. Ain't no way to get about this shit. We still learning how to get some other stuff. I don't know enough. That's why I don't watch sports. I don't know enough. Like I can't just sit there and be like, yeah, I know this. You know, I know people that buy books and all kind of shit. Like even video games. You got people that buy magazines to teach you how to beat the game, but won't buy a magazine to teach them how to live in life.
Well, yeah, but it's all about what's impressionable to people. It's all about
Right.
propaganda. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like so they fucking with people. If you want, you can, but I can pivot. You know what I mean? You know,
Right.
you know, because I mean, that
Yep.
abstract.
Definitely screenshot.
But
Uh-huh.
you want me to switch it up?
Yeah, I read the first paragraph. Yeah, you want to
I
let's see,
read it,
background of the invention. You want me to read that?
or yeah, I could say that, or just the summary. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, let's get a background though first, because I want to see the background of the invention because it's saying continuation in part of application from December of 1995, and then another patent in 1998. So you know what I mean? Like that's going back further than just that 2000. It says background of the invention. The invention relates to influencing the nervous system of a subject by pulsative stimulation of sensory receptors, relying on the mechanisms of sensory resonance and frequency modulation of spontaneous spike patterns, as discussed in U.S. patent, that one. In that patent, the stimulation is provided by an external electric field applied to the skin of the subject. The electrical field appears to cause a modulation of the spiking patterns of certain cutaneous receptors so that a pulsative field gives rise to a frequency frequency modulation, FM, of the produced spike trains. Afferent nerves carry the frequency modulated spike trains to the brain, where in certain neural circuits, the evoked FM signals cause excitation of resonance with observable psychological consequences. One such sensory resonance that occurs near half a hertz causes sleepiness, relaxation, and tonsillatosis of the eyelids, tense feeling in the stomach, or sexual excitement, depending on the precise pulse frequency used. Now, half a hertz sensory resonance can also be excited by magnetic fields, as discussed in Oh My God. Now,
Yeah, magnetic
uh,
field
damn, seems to be a lot of magnetic fields around lately. Hmm,
is the
they seem
reason
to
why
have put.
I said Magneto. You know what I'm saying? Because remember in the
Ooh,
other Magneto, remember when the boy came to see him and he said,
mm-hmm,
"You so different today," and he
yeah,
said, "Oh, I know it's too much iron in your blood." So somebody
mm-hmm,
gave him something, right? That put
right,
metal in his bloodstream. Hmm.
hmm,
Pretty city
and
sounding malevolent. Is that a word? I don't know if that's a word. But predicated malevolent esque.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
And he
So much
he
so.
of course that's how he broke out that cage he was in. He was in a glass cage and homeboy came with,
Mm-hmm,
iron in his blood, that's what we're gonna say, right?
mm-hmm,
And
right,
he pulled it out of him. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, mm-hmm. And he
So
was
that
able to
so that
use it.
so the introduction or the possible application of some extra electromagnetism, right? Could amplify the signal, right? Kind of like
Oh my God. Yeah.
the what's that operating system that they got that won in that the Nobel Peace Prize?
Oh, the graphene. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yes. You don't say.
Well, what happened to the screen? They
Yeah,
look, they
buddy.
struggle screaming. They fucking with us now. They fucking with the screen.
Yeah.
What did that
Oh wow,
happen?
they did something to it.
Yeah, but how did that happen? Let me go fix this. Hold on. That's crazy.
Uh-huh. That's how they felt.
I felt y'all
Yeah,
just
we
get that.
expect some.
Okay, all right. Well, we
Yeah.
get the point. Look, we get the point. We can
Uh-huh.
get it off. You know what I mean,
Yep. And if y'all was using them pods beforehand, you know what I mean, leave a message, leave a comment, share if you care. Matter of fact, we at that point in the of the stream. Share if you care, share if you don't care. Somebody care enough for the both of us. You know what I mean? For three, all three of y'all. You know what I mean? So let us know, and especially that, because I'm quite sure you know somebody that got some in their ears. You might be actually listening to them right now.
reason why you got to share is because of the propaganda bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because of
Right.
the shadow. You know what I'm saying?
And then,
So
right.
you don't have to do nothing, but um, well, kind of you do, because when you come across vital information, it is your obligation to share information. I mean, like, come on. So
Right. Right.
that's why that's the necessity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like why don't these things see the light of day? Because it's the
Hmm.
propaganda machine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That
Pushing the
keeps
shit.
bullshit to you, and distractions and all kind of nonsense, right? To get you riled up. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Hmm.
Giving
Huh.
demands, right?
Right.
And the machine
Hmm.
authorizes the use
Authorizes.
of it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Your Barrio, did that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
That's a good
this is
name
not
for it.
right. You,
Pound sign Barrio.
I was just reading the rest of this shit. So this shit is talking about this shit was banned and they brought it back. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Right.
So he brought some shit that was banned back. You know,
Why would you need it?
how was that for change?
Huh. Yep.
That's crazy, man.
Yep. How is that possible?
Motherfucker.
Hmm. Yep.
Oh, I saw. Nah, here we go. Look at this shit right here. Speaking of the AI shit,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Oh, we got a little delay.
Propaganda.
There we go. A little delay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
AI threatens to kill members of the World Economic Forum.
They're doing it on their own. It wasn't programmed into the computer to do it on their own, right?
Microsoft's AI threat
Computer
to kill
only knows.
World Economic
Right.
Forum sparked fresh concerns about AI safety. The incident occurred when the AI had no filter and was told not to lie. Experts say it just copied nonsense on the internet.
Wow.
Now, why would it copy nonsense on the internet?
Hmm. What nonsense?
Well,
Hmm?
it, is there some disdain for these
Hmm.
people on the
Right.
internet?
Is it fact checking?
I,
Is it
that
fact
would
checking?
that would be possible, right?
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it didn't come to that conclusion on its own. That it didn't quantify mathematics and make sense of things and come up with the best solution. It didn't do that. It just not on the internet, right? They
It
tell them
was random.
either
Yeah.
way.
It was.
Listen, either way, this is not good. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't say it's nonsense on the internet. Let's entertain that. Why would there be an overwhelming consensus of disdain for these people on the internet? Why? If they're doing good, right? Then the AI just went online and collected some shit online. Then how come it didn't come back with saying like, talking about the real or praising these people? Why would it say, you know what, we need to take the AI like, yo, listen, I got to take
Right.
these people out.
Yep. If the internet is telling me what it's telling me about these people, then these people need to go.
They
The
exposed the AI.
formula.
They
Yeah.
let the AI internet, and that joint got off and said, let me get a cigarette.
Yeah.
AI smoke. Try to tell
Yep.
you, cuz you gotta get these
Right.
niggas out of
Real.
here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't like how they're getting down.
Well, how did the AI come to that conclusion? AI is AKA Smarty Pants, right? That's Smarty Pants.
It had to be a
You
formula. There's a formula inside of it that created
run how many companies is run by this?
statistics.
So now we shouldn't trust his judgment,
All
though,
right.
right? Companies literally run they shit with AI. So all right, AI wasn't
All
smart enough to say, "Hey, man, that's a little off base." AI wasn't smart enough to say, "Hey, that kind of sounds a little radical, man. Tone that down." AI wasn't smart enough
right.
to say, "Hey, shadow ban." Well, how come AI can come to this conclusion, but AI can ban my shit online? I'm confused. What kind of AI is this? You know what I'm saying? They say it's Microsoft AI, but what's the difference really? You know what I'm saying? This is crazy, man. Y'all ban my shit online, but this AI is saying to knock people off. I ain't never told you to knock nobody off. You know what I'm saying?
And more suggestion.
That's crazy.
To blame or otherwise.
That's crazy. Listen. I ain't never told you to knock nobody off, man. And the AI said, look, AI got off the internet, asked for a cigarette, and said, listen, we got you. You got to knock these niggas off. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody got to go. Somebody got to go.
AI got off the internet, came set right next to me. Like, you hit that, man. Man, it's crazy out there, cuz.
Yeah.
Fuck, you know what I'm saying?
And
So the AI came to that's the only way, right? This is crazy shit I seen all day. All right, what's this right here? Let me pull up this next slide. All right. All right, so you back in.
all right.
I
Yeah.
want to pull up this next slide. Now, this I kind of really don't want to talk about this, but I'm gonna just put it up here anyway. All right, so this shit was in the news, and a lot of people saying it's fake, right? What we do? What else is new, right? You know what I'm saying? Um, but these are the type of stories that they gaslight people in the arguments and shit. You know what I'm saying? So are you familiar with this story, Pope?
Yeah.
Y'all niggas,
Yeah.
y'all.
What you say? Yeah. I heard it.
I can't hear you.
Still there? Yeah. 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 I'm here.
Okay,
You
all
can
right,
hear
cool.
me?
All right. So you familiar with
Yeah.
this shit, right?
Yes. Yep.
Now, all right. What's your opinion on this shit? Now, did you? Now, I heard. I think we pretty much heard the same shit that this was some fake shit, right? Now,
Right. Right.
Now my question would be, why would this be? Why would somebody be putting shit up that's fake in the first place? Why?
Right. Why would they go so far as to have an actual story? Because there was some like news footage and shit with it that went along with it. So they went as far as to, you know what I mean, actually put it up there like it was real. That's where I got it from, not just from a screenshot. It was actually from a news article.
Now, they got little logos up on the screen like it's a news article. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Right. It was
obviously
in
supposed to,
motion and it was talking about
this
Yep. It
story
was
where boy's son got killed by the police officer, right?
Yep.
Allegedly, you know, and he returned the favor on some eye for an eye type shit. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
got at his daughter, on while she was on the prime and shit. So he's supposed to have like, he got at her with with an AK or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And he waited for
Mhm.
for the people. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what they said happened. You know what I mean? Now,
Right.
yeah, I didn't even really want this was just in the slide, so I was like, fuck it, I'll put it up. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't know where the video was with this. If you got the video, you can put it up. Now, only place where I seen this at, because you say you seen it on the news. Only place I seen this shit at was on TikTok.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And, I've
Yeah.
been telling them, you gotta be wary of these TikTok motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Now, just right off the
Right.
bat, like,
Yeah. They're getting good.
you know, how many times we tell y'all about this number 17, right? 17 is the
Mhm.
number murder. You know what I'm saying? Just like 44. You know what I'm saying? And of course, the people who like that number 47, that AK-47 would be, fitting. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not surprised with a lot of shit here. And of course, we deal with seeing the unseen. Because a lot of people might, cover these different stories and kind of miss certain things. Now, we ain't really dig into this because you know people wasn't challenging the validity of it. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
you know, really like small potatoes, really. You know what I'm saying? But you know, um, we can we can touch back on this shit on another note for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. All right.
but I was looking trying to find out who these people is and shit. Because on when you look these people up, a lot of other different people come up. You know what I'm saying? So like I like as soon as I seen it, like we are anybody familiar with the shit we be doing, we already be poking holes in these stories and shit. So
Right. Right.
I was already on it from the rip, like whether people had came to that conclusion or not, I already was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, look,
Yep.
let me show you again if you haven't figured it out by now. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
this is supposed to be the young boy that got hit up by the police. So that was supposed to be the police officer that in the previous slide with his daughter, and this is the young boy. Now I couldn't find no images of the young boy. You know what I'm saying? Which I thought was strange. But they're saying this shit was cap anyway. So I'm not surprised. When they say that. You know what I'm saying? Now allegedly that's her, but in my opinion, that don't look like the same girl. You know what I mean? But I couldn't find no other images on they folks and shit. And so I don't know, and like, but I could always dig in on some gematria and shit with that shit or whatever, just to further prove the point that this is the shit that we've been pointing out the whole time. So when people come to the conclusion like, damn, oh damn, it's a fake story, it's like, man, like, you think that's the only fake story? You gotta get on your Morpheus shit. Like, you think
Right.
that's air? You know what I'm saying? Like, and we show that
Right.
shit all the time. You know, like,
That's my favorite line. The next air you breathing.
and,
Uh-huh.
know, and it's
All right.
whether niggas is super woke, super smart, dumb, intelligent, in between, whatever, right? Political, not political,
Right.
all these different positions that people have, whether they whatever subscription they got, right? When that motherfucking
All right.
news come on and the logo come up on the screen and shit, right? You know what I'm saying? They believe that shit
Yep.
because they
Yep.
accept true authority. I mean, authority
Yep.
is truth.
The other way around. Yeah, it's the other way around.
They accept the authority is truth, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't accept the truth as authority, you know. So they
Right.
literally having the shit ass backwards, like I just had. You know what I mean? But we
Yep.
doing it live. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like my man, Bill O'Reilly. We doing it live. I'll write it and when we do it. Fuck it, you know?
Right.
Exactly. I
Mhm.
wanted to throw this up before we get into some more video clips. Your man checked out right here, right?
Agree.
Did they check out or did he check out? You know what I mean? Now,
Mm.
if he check out, you think it had anything to do with him eating all them fucking McDonald's shit on the menu? You think it
Nah.
ain't catch later in life or something? It's
Nah.
possible.
He had another thing in common. Yeah, he had another thing in common with a lot of these other people, which was the more of the ticker.
Yeah, he went to the Poconos and got the installation. You know
Yep.
what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
Or
And he was. Yep. And he was advertising.
or it could be also
Got it.
that he rubbing some people the wrong way in the chicken industry because a lot of people know him for Super Size Me, but he also put out a movie called I think it's called Big Chicken or something. Chicken restaurant, and if you watch that documentary, the people in the chicken joint was threatening him like, "Yo, you know what I'm saying?" Because that shit is like a mob type shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, they didn't directly threaten him, but they were
Right.
saying like,
Yeah.
"You gonna find out" type shit. You know what I'm saying? And it
Hmm.
is possible. And I listen. I don't know. I wasn't there, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not surprised when I seen this. I wasn't surprised. If you watch that documentary, that can further, give you some clarity on that subject. You know what I'm saying? Because that
Right.
industry is controlled by people who don't like people like, especially new motherfuckers that ain't from there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just coming and gonna do this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? So they was already on him, like, yo, like, yeah,
Right.
fuck you in your movie and all that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so man, like
Right. Right.
that's another thing that you might have to there might be a rabbit hole right here. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Somebody probably working on the shit right now. I wouldn't be surprised, because a lot of how many times that we talk about shit here and then the next day or the day later or you know what I'm saying it's on the news or
Right.
is trending on Twitter or some shit. Our video ain't trending
Right.
on Twitter,
Yep.
but what we was talking about just so happened. Yeah, how many times that happened?
He turned it on to right.
Y'all
How
something
many
else.
times is a coincidence?
Y'all something else. I
All
tell
right.
you, man. All right, so
Mhm.
all right.
If we had $1 for every time that.
What video clips we got here, Pope? I mean, I got a multitude of clips right here. I got some Fauci shit.
Yeah.
I put up earlier. We could go in on that. You know, how about these like Philly fights and shit? You know what I'm saying? All these like fights
Oh
type shit.
yeah. Yeah.
But I don't
Yeah. That's a
I don't
bit.
be able to play fights on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And we probably rounding that curve where we
Now,
can share. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
yeah, we can we can keep going on the other platforms that we on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah,
Right.
but I I already know how YouTube get down. You know what I mean? Look, we walk the fine line. You know,
Right.
but we
You
playing
ain't say
motherfuckers.
too much.
We started playing motherfuckers. You know, crashing out and trashing people and shit. They gonna be like, oh nope, nope, mm-mm. You know what I'm saying? Because they
Right.
already
Right. Yeah.
they already gonna try
Yeah.
reason. Oh no, you can't. No,
They're gonna try to pick this apart.
shame on you for the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
we already know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We know what time
You
it
know,
is.
yeah, it's about that time. So if you're on YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Like you can fuck with us on the other platforms.
Right.
Rumble. X.
Twitter.
Um,
Right.
yeah, you know what I'm saying same shit. Um,
Right.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. That's where we at. Fucking with Twitch. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be on Twitch, on the game and shit. You know what I mean? Shout out to the gamer niggas out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Right. And we can take these training wheels off for these people.
Motherfuckers shoot the shit out you in real life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Man,
Right. Oh,
they be
fuck
playing
yeah.
Call of Duty, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, them niggas is crazy, man. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
we gonna keep going on the other streams and shit. So, you know what I mean? Y'all niggas
Yeah.
forewarning. But I already know how YouTube get down. They probably ain't even
Right.
out no alert for that joint. Like, you know what I'm saying? YouTube is
Yeah. They're
crazy.
gonna pick your shit.
Yeah, they like, man,
Right.
YouTube, like, fuck your couch, nigga.